Hi guys, I'm Drake York. Welcome to this edition of Dirt Talk with Drake York, and I've got racer and owner of Papenhausen Automotive, Richard Papenhausen, here tonight. It's good to have you.
Thank you.
Today's show will be presented by Motorwear International, who provided us these amazing shirts, and Papenhausen Automotive, which is the business that this guy owns, Richard Papenhausen. So, Richard, there must be some crazy story of how you got introduced to racing, because you've been around racing a long time. How were you introduced to the sport of racing?
Yeah, when I was growing up, my dad, he raced pavement, so I followed him. We went racing every weekend, Carson City, Anderson. So it's been in my blood pretty much my whole life. And then once I turned 16, I bought my first car from my dad and started racing in Quincy. And then pretty much started full time in '86.
How many years have you raced? I know you've been racing for some time.
Yeah, I started in '86 and probably from '86 to now. And there's a couple of years, late '90s, I was running 2-3 nights a week between Chico, Marysville, and Orland.
I know you've won tons of races. Do you have any idea of how many races you actually won?
No, I'd have to sit down and count, but well over 100.
Huh? Along with wins sometimes comes championships. How many championships have you won?
I've got 2 championships in Quincy, a couple in Chico, in Orland, and in early 2000s I won the championship in Chico and Marysville the same year, and also Antioch and Petaluma.
I know you've driven different types of dirt stock cars before. What types have you driven?
Mainly the late models and IMC modifieds. I did venture into pavement for a couple years, but it was a little bit too boring.
Out of all those cars, what's been your most favorite to drive?
The late model is definitely the favorite, but anymore it's getting hard to find shows for them without traveling a long ways, and the modifieds have kind of taken over.
Well, you were talking about all those different tracks you've raced at. What has been your favorite track to race at?
They're all pretty good. Just depends on I haven't raced Calistoga much, but I have liked the times we went there. Obviously, the best tracks are the ones we win at.
Those are always the best tracks. Who did you look up to growing up?
I don't know. I used to watch a lot of the posse guys from Oregon, Dane Smith, and some of them guys, and they used to come Chico for the open show. They were always really fast. Leah Levis, I think, out of Petaluma. And
who's been your biggest rival, past and present? Hint, Jason York.
Yeah. Back in the '90s, yeah, Jason was. In early 2000s, we had a lot of battles out there. And Tom Fisher, he was always tough. And right now is, probably the biggest is McDaniels, beating them.
Who's been your biggest supporter throughout your entire racing career?
My family's been my biggest supporters, and I've had a lot of close friends that spend a lot of time on the cars because they do take a lot of time and help me out all through the years.
You're mostly known for racing dirt stock cars. Have you tried any other different cars, like a sprint car or something?
I ran a pavement dirt car, or a pavement modified for a couple years. And then I ran a wingless sprint one time. I wasn't too fond of that. But I've never been in a wing sprint car yet.
Would you like to run, like you were talking about, non-wing or wing sprint car full time?
No, I've always been a stock car guy.
Your business, Papenhausen Automotive, how'd that all come about?
I've been working on cars since I was 15, and I came down to Chico in '84, and I worked for a guy for 22 years, and he decided to retire. And then Ira Compton actually got me going into my business, and we've been been going pretty strong now for about 8 years.
What do you like owning about your business?
Being the owner, it's got its ups and downs. You do have your freedoms, but there is a lot of headaches in it too.
What do you do in your free time? I imagine you don't get much because of your business and work.
Yeah, I don't really have much free time. If I'm not working, we're traveling, racing, or our weekends we try to get away, but it's tough.
Do you ever see yourself ever stepping out of the cockpit of a race car for good?
It's coming. I just turned 50 last week, so I'm getting up there in age.
You don't look that old. You look pretty good
Thank
for
you.
your age. Did you once you started racing? Did you ever see yourself racing for this long?
Yeah, but once I started racing, it was just got very addicting, and there's always that thrill of winning.
How much has racing changed since you first started?
Racing's come a long ways. Suspensions out there nowadays and the parts, it's pretty crazy.
What are your plans for 2016?
Right now, we're just trying to, we're not racing as much. We're racing maybe 3 times a month now. But right now, I'm racing my super late model in Antioch once every 2 weeks, and we're leading the points down there. And then in the off weekends, we're going to be taking the modified up and racing Quincy and maybe some Antioch shows.
Mike Compton recently got inducted to the NCARA Hall of Fame. I know he's helped a little bit with your career. How much has he helped with your career?
Mike Compton has helped me a lot. He built my cars for me in the 90s, and I worked out of a shop, and he went to races with us and traveled with us, and I learned a lot from him.
Well, that's going to wrap up our show today. Today's show has been presented by Bill McAnally Racing's Napa Auto Care, Hunt's Race World, Tommy Herseth's Vintage Race Cars, and Papenhausen Automotive. And tune in next time. On Thursday the 2nd, we'll have Dave Bradway Jr. Memorial winner from this year, Kyle Hurst, on the show. So you want to stay tuned for that one.